Alright, so this week we watched The Killing of a Chinese Bookie. It's from 1976, and it's on the list because it's one of Winona Ryder's closet picks. It is directed by John Cassavetes, and it is a neo-noir crime film. 7.3 out of 10. Obviously, John Cassavetes, kind of a big deal. They consider him kind of like the father of American independent film, because he threw his own money again behind a bunch of movies that just were made outside of the studio system. And after the advent of film and everything moving to Hollywood, the studio system was really the only way to get in. So this film actually didn't do too well at the box office originally, apparently. When it first released in 1976, it ran for 135 minutes, 2 hours and 15. Fairly long film. A couple of years later, he had commented that the film was hastily edited and that he didn't really get a chance to do what he wanted with it, and so he went in and he made his own cuts afterwards. So what I wound up watching was the director's cut. A nice slim 108 minutes. The film stars Ben Gazzara, who has a long career. He's won several awards, including a Razzie. He plays Cosmo Vitelli, a man who owns a club quotation marks. It's kind of a strip joint. God, how do I describe this? So it is ostensibly a strip club, but it's trying to be kind of maybe vaudeville-y. It's hard to say. They're putting on acts. They're putting on just burlesque shows. They have a guy coming out who's named Mr. Sophistication. That's his stage name. So this guy comes out with a couple of naked ladies, and he starts singing a song, and they're dancing, and you can tell that this place is seedy and run down enough that nobody's actually here to see Mr. Sophistication. They're just there to see, tits, for lack of a better word. They will have scenes where Mr. Sophistication comes out on stage, and as he's starting to go into his song, the crowd is booing and yelling, "Bring out the girls." And it's just clearly Cosmo is trying to make this thing more than it is. I get this impression of him that he's putting on airs, he wants to be seen as artsy and cultured and a patron of the arts. But all he can really manage is this honest-to-God strip club. That's what this is. And I think that there's nothing that really convinces me more of this. There's a scene where he gets into his limo with a girl. They're in the back seat, and he's just got a bottle of champagne. And he's like, "Oh, do you want some champagne? Let's get some champagne." So he, pops the cork, and he picks up a couple of glasses, and he's pouring. But I look at this, and I'm like, those aren't champagne flutes. He's using fucking cocktail glasses. Big wide couped cocktail glasses. These are not considered the ideal glasses for drinking champagne out of, just because they're so wide they lose all the carbonation right away. These are more geared towards cocktails, martinis, things like that. That right there is, I think, a great metaphor for him. He's trying to put on the substance of something rich and classy, but it's in the wrong container. And that's his club. You're not gonna really get an artsy crowd. You're not gonna get culture here. This is a seedy strip club downtown, man. It's just not gonna work out.
Where's your class? Style, not class.
The movie opens up with Cosmo paying off some debts, he owed money to a fella, and he's like, "All right, so it's been 7 years. I finally paid off all of my debts to you. Here's the money. We're free. I hope I never have to deal with you again." So, you could tell this is somebody that he owed money to, and he really didn't want to owe money to the guy. You never really want to owe money to people, but some people are definitely worse to owe money to than others. And boy, does he ever find that out, because now that he's finally free of debt, he decides he's going to go and hobnob. And he's gonna go join a high-stakes poker game. And this is the fucked up part, is he's finally free, and then he goes to this place, and he's wearing a tuxedo, a full tuxedo, and a bow tie. Everybody else involved here Like all the other folks at the table, they're just wearing regular old suits, just normal ass suits, and then you have this guy, and he shows up in a tuxedo, and he's acting like a high roller. He tells the dealer, "Oh, trust me, your boss gave me unlimited credit," and the dealer's just like, "Fuck are you talking about? Unlimited credit isn't a thing anybody gets. What's wrong with you?" Long story short, he winds up owing $23,000 at the end of the day, and this is an establishment run by some of the worst people to owe money to, the mafia. And wouldn't you know it, they have something that he can do for them in order to pay off his debt. Hence the title of the film. I don't want to just run through and be like, this happens, then this happens, then this happens. But suffice to say, he's in over his head. He's out of his element. He's very much like, he doesn't want to do this. He tries to bargain his way out of it. Like at one point, they're asking him, have you ever killed anybody? He's like, well, yeah, during the war, but that was war. That's different. If you're looking for somebody to break in and kill somebody, you want somebody else, not me. And they're like, you owe us money, man. You can either wipe out your debt, or we will apply the thumb screws. The movie does have kind of a, I want to say it's ambiguous, the ending. Like, it ends partway through. Like, you don't get, the story doesn't really end. Or if it does end, it's not going anywhere in a way that's like dramatic. Like, there really should be, I don't want to say that there needs to be more to this. There doesn't need to be more to this. He ends up kind of boned, but we're not really sure of his exact situation. Like, he's wounded, but it's a very easily manageable wound if he just goes to the hospital. But also, if he goes to the hospital, there might be people there looking for him. It's a mess. I don't know how he's going to get out of this situation, But I'm not going to necessarily tell you how he got into this situation. I will say I thought it was clever. There was a sequence in the film where he was, like, trying to escape, and he ends up, like, he's getting out on foot, and then he, like, jumps on a bus, and then he transfers to a cab, and then he gets out, and he goes into a theater, and he comes right back out, and he gets into another cab, and I'm like, he's just changing vehicles so much that it would be difficult to pin down exactly who it was and where he came from and where he went. And I do enjoy, I can't think of another film where somebody employed the use of a getaway bus. Also, props to Vitelli for having the foresight to not give his address to the cab driver. He just says, yeah, just go downtown. I'll let you know where we're going when we get there. An address makes it a little too obvious. If he said, hey, I'm looking to go here, then, cab driver could be like, I saw somebody who fit that description, and let me tell you exactly where I drove him. He asked for that specific place. I had to go back in and watch the full version. Like, I didn't watch the whole thing, because obviously if Cassavetes was like, some of these things really can go, they don't need to be in here, then who am I to argue? But I wanted to see if maybe he did something different with the ending, and no, exact same ending. He's on the sidewalk, and the music is playing from inside of his club, and you're just like, this is his life, I guess. I don't know. Allegedly, you can spot David Bowie in some of the club audience footage in the movie. I didn't know to look for this, so I cannot verify. But supposedly he's in there. I guess Cassavetes had a high opinion of David Bowie and was like a fan of some of his movies. And so he was just like, yeah, come on, we'll get you in the film. You can sit down and you can watch some of the topless ladies. And according to Wikipedia, during the late 90s, Brett Ratner tried to do a remake of this movie and recruited John Cassavetes' son. Thank God that did not happen. I enjoy the Rush Hour films, but as I have discussed in the past, Brett Ratner would not touch him with a 10-foot pole. Oh my God, that third Rush Hour movie was just full of people with bizarre sex crimes in their past. Yeah, this was a very well done film. John Cassavetes obviously scouted out some solid locations for this. Everything looked great. The lighting was fantastic. you could smell the smoke in the strip club. Like, it's such a seedy dive that you're like, I know exactly what they're going for here. I mean, look at this place. It's wretched. Like, every time Gazzara is in the club, he's just bathed in the red light, which is, I guess, to say that the club itself is, like, tainting him, sort of. If you're down for some crime action here, a nice noir crime film, give this a watch. Definitely solid. The pacing I felt was great. I never found myself like, oh, how much longer is this, you know? It kept me engaged the whole time through, which isn't something that happens a lot with a lot of this genre, I will admit. Sometimes things get padded out somewhat, so director's cut, short enough, definitely solid, give it a watch. And hey, speaking of giving things a watch, what are we watching next week? 3, 2, 1, and go! Alright, down into the horse plinko they go. This one is poker themed apparently. They're mixing it up. Out front is the Doom Generation, followed by The Last Hurrah for Chivalry, which is, I believe, John Woo's first film. Doom Generation getting through. I believe that made it onto the list because it has an Asian director. There's the split path here, so either side to really be coming out front. The listing up on the top right cannot be trusted when they're going through loops, but coming out front is the Doom Generation still, followed by Dead Calm, The Killers, The Adventures of Baron Munchausen is also something I've been hyped for. Doom Generation is holding its lead. Come on, guys, what are you doing? There's The Third Man. I just watched a neo-noir, so that would be a good follow-up. It's a classic noir. I doubt it's going to happen. And Doom Generation is absolutely crushing it. What's going on here? Hello? Hello? The Third Man. Out first, followed by the Doom Generation. Monsieur Hulot's Holidays going around the other side. There's Kiss of the Spider-Woman. 3 Women. Fellini's Satyricon. Come around here. Third Man shot off of the speed up. Doom Generation also shot off of it, but they're hitting those pegs along the way. Kiss of the Spider-Woman going for it, but it gets caught on that spinning comb. Third Man gonna hit these paddles. Can it make it through before something catches up? Here comes Charade. There's pegs here, they might stop it, but no, it looks like we're getting the Third Man. Oh man, okay, well, you know, I did say that it would be interesting to see The Third Man, a classic noir after the neo-noir film that I watched earlier today. So, we have The Third Man, Charade, Kiss of the Spider-Woman, Fear City, The Doom Generation, which fell back 5 places somehow, The Hit, The Killers, Fellini's Satyricon, 3 Women, and Monsieur Hulot's Holiday. And then bringing up the trail, Never Weaken is stuck. There's my favorite software is being here, and are you gonna manage it? Are you stuck? There it goes. Okay, you are not catching fire today. All right, there it is, officially our winner, The Third Man. Bring up the results here. Afterwards, we had Brazil, Sweet Soul of Success. Everything. Last Hurrah for Chivalry did not finish. It must have fallen off somewhere, and I didn't even notice. Let's bring up the stats, see what we're looking for here. All right. So, The Third Man. I know things about it. This went onto the list for a reason. The Third Man, 1949, selected because it's from their list of out-of-print films. They don't have it available right now. Directed by Carol Reed. Noir is the genre, I knew that. 104 minutes. Respectable length. 8.10 out of 10. That is an exceptionally high score. I think there's only a couple of things that are slightly higher than that. 8.1 out of 10. I will tell you the thing about The Third Man that made me spot it on the list and say, give me that. And that is, it stars Orson Welles. And he's great. But yeah, that is what we're going to watch today. Not today, but that's what we're going to watch this week, The Third Man. Being excited for it. Another thing that I've been wanting to watch for a long-ass time to knock off of my list.